Now, if you have really creasy under eyes like I do at times because I don't drink water, so if you're a dehydrated person that is SpongeBob, then let me tell you something. Hi you guys, welcome back to the Clean Beauty Code. I'm so excited for this video. We are doing a concealer review. We are reviewing the SAIE Beauty Concealer. I was so excited to see they were coming out with the concealer because I feel like, although not all of their products have been my favorites, I feel like there were maybe like two I haven't really jived with that much. I have really enjoyed a majority of their products. So I was like, okay, let's slap it in my bag. And you guys always love to see concealer reviews. So I'm so excited to talk about the SAIE Beauty Concealer. So we're going to be doing a full try on. We're going to be doing a full review. I've been trying it out for a while now. I definitely have some thoughts and I can't wait to get into the video. So if you're excited for this video and more videos like this, then please like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into the SAIE Beauty Concealer review. All right, you guys, let's get into it. I have two shades of the SAIE Beauty Concealer. I have the shade 4 and the shade, 3. I had such a hard time picking a shade. I need like every, so if you're like, okay, this is gonna look good on like these are the tones that look good on the person with lightest complexion, medium complexion, dark complexion. I don't want you to just swatch the shades that you think match that person. I want it all swatched out because I want to see even the lighter shade, these two shades swatched next to each other, but they weren't. So I couldn't figure out like which one would work for me best. And I was really confused. So I ended up getting actually two shades because I felt like the shade 4 was not too dark, but it could have gone lighter. And I would have loved to see them swatched side by side because 4 was the lightest shade for like the medium complexion and 3 was the darkest shade for the light complexion. And I was like, okay, can I get some side by side swatching? This is a little bit crazy. And I felt like when I was picking a shade, they like tell you what, if you're, let's say I have their skin tints here, if you're the shade 5 or the shade 6 or whatever, which one would work best. But I feel like they said it was like a brightening, they say it's a brightening concealer. I would get a lighter shade that you think you should get. Like that is genuinely, if you want something that's more on the brighter side under your eyes, then get a lighter shade. So I have the shade 4, which is the shade that was recommended to me, but I got the shade 3 as well because I feel like it just wasn't brightening enough for what I would want a lightweight concealer to be. And I know like as you see them side by side, you're like, whoa. Shade 3 might be a little too light for you, but in reality, it actually isn't. It just depends on how you like to wear your concealers. But I would definitely, if you have the option to go lighter, try going a little bit lighter. But I do think that the shade 4 works for me, and I'm going to put that one under my eyes for you today. And then maybe do a touch of 3 just so you can see them both. So let's get into it. My under eyes are hydrated. And I'm in studio light, so you can't see how dark my under eyes are, and that's kind of how it always is. But I definitely have a lot of darkness that peeks through here specifically. Oh, you can see, never mind. So let's get into it. So I find over applying this product to be a mistake, step 1. So do not over apply this product because like you will get creasing if you over apply it. So I kind of, when I first got this, I did how I normally do my concealer. I like let it sit and all of that, but I felt like it didn't perform as well when I applied it the same amount that I did my other concealers. So a little bit of this works better, kind of like a little bit at a time, and it doesn't set up right away at all, so you can kind of work with it. And I think it's important how you hydrate your under eyes. You need to make sure your under eyes are hydrated. In general, I think with concealer, if you hydrate your under eyes, it is going to look better. But definitely hydrate your under eyes with this. I was intrigued because I know that the Kosas concealer is like a similar vibe on being like very hydrating and all of that. So I was wondering if this would be similar to that. Now let's see, I'm going to apply. So that's all I'm going to apply concealer-wise, if you can see, for my first go-around. So that is that done. I'm going to let that sit for a little bit, not a long time, and then I'm going to blend it out. Now, what I feel like this blends out, I'm going to blend it out one side with my finger and one side with a brush so that you can see both ways. But I feel like it says to blend it out with your finger. I feel like personally, this blends out way better with a brush and performs better when you kind of blend it out with a brush. If you don't over apply it and then you blend it out with your finger, you're good. But it's so, based on how like normally people apply concealer, I feel like it's really, really easy to over apply this, and then the end result isn't as good as if you kind of slowly but surely apply. In general, I think slowly but surely is better for concealer anyways, actually for everything. For everything, slowly but surely, like calm down. You don't need to get all kinds of crazy, but like I just think if you kind of slowly apply product, as long as it doesn't set up too quickly, it ends up being better. Okay, so I let that sit for a second, so I'm going to blend it out with my finger on this side and with a brush on this side. So I'm going to take the Ami Collet brush and blend this side out with that, and then I'm going to blend this side out with my finger. So that is that initial application. I definitely still have some darkness peeking through right here. This is definitely not a full coverage concealer. I would say that this is a very natural finish concealer. And I feel like if you get the right shade match for you, this is a very easy wear without any foundation. But if it's not, then I don't feel like it looks as nice. If it's not like a good shade match, which is like every concealer, but I'm just saying I feel like because there's less shade options in this than other concealers, it might be tougher if you can't find a good shade match. Now let's go with my finger. I'm going to blend it out on this side. Okay, so you can see both sides. I feel like this side doesn't look as nice when I blend it out with my finger. And I feel like although like brushes soak up more product, somehow the coverage on this side is a lot less. And I don't love that as much. But with a brush, I feel like it's a little different. So what I am going to do is I'm going to apply a little bit of 3, 2, right here. All right, so let's blend out the shade 3 now, and I'm going to actually do both sides with a brush because I just prefer the finish, and I really want you to kind of see how it kind of sets. And I'm going to take my finger just around the edges. I think it's also really important with this concealer to make sure it is very blended out. Like I just feel like if it isn't really blend out, then it tends to kind of collect a little bit in like the fine line area. If you don't have fine lines, you don't really have to worry about it. But for me, I feel like if I don't blend it out really well, it kind of collects right here. And this concealer does set up. If you do feel like you're getting a little bit of collecting on the side or a little bit of creasing just because it wasn't blend out as well here or really anywhere, but for me, it's right here. I take a beauty sponge and I wet it with a little bit of setting spray, and then I kind of tap out my under eyes, and then it ends up smoothing it out in those corners, because again, this does set up. So this is what it looks like. I feel like it looks a lot better now that it's kind of brightened a little bit here. And again, granted, I apply very little bit of this product because I feel like that's how it works best for me, but I do feel like my under eyes look really, really nice and hydrating. So this is meant to be like a more brightening, hydrating concealer. I do feel like because it is a little bit more of it's not like it doesn't mattify at all. It does kind of make your under eye look a little bit more on the bright side, which I do really enjoy. Now, the way that this performs with powder is it performs fine with powder, but I do not love setting my concealer in general. I'm taking a little bit of the Ami Collet powder, which I did a full review on and you guys know I love, and I'm taking a fluffy brush like this, and I'm actually going to be tapping right here and not going all the way up to like where my like under eye lines are, but also not like, I don't like it to mattify too close to the top of my like bottom lash line. And I'm just gonna kind of tap and then bring it. And that is a kind of set up and it looks really nice. I do enjoy it. Okay, so now I'm gonna kind of touch up really, really quick. There we go. So I'm also going to do a little bit on my bottom lash line, a little bit of powder. I'm going to take a little brush like this and dip in. Okay, so I'm happy with how that's looking. I feel like that looks really nice. So now let's kind of get into it. I feel like my under eyes definitely can like look nice and smooth and brightened and hydrated. Now I want to swatch these two side by side. This is the shade 4, and I'll also like blend it out on the back of my hand for you guys so you can kind of see. And this is the shade 3, so you can kind of see. So these are the two shades, the shade 4 and the shade 3. So they're definitely very different. I feel like the shade 3 I can wear in winter, and it's a good like brightening shade on top of something else. But also if I just want like a touch of brightening and that's it, but I don't want like a full under eye of concealer, it's really good for that too. So I'm going to take the Amicole brush and I'm going to blend out the shade 3 first. I'm just gonna, so that is the shade 3 blended out. You can see that right there. And then I'm going to blend out the shade 4. And that is the shade 4 blended out. So you can see like there's very light coverage. I would definitely say it's light coverage. Like I don't really think you can get like full medium coverage at all. And I feel like over applying, again, this product is a mistake. So like if you like something with more coverage, apply it, let it sit for like 2 minutes. I usually say 1 minute to 2 minutes, but this one I would say definitely 2 minutes because it is a little bit more on the hydrating side. My phone is so loud. A little bit more on the hydrating side. So you want to make sure that you're giving it enough time to kind of dry out or like set up a little bit, then blend it out. You get a little bit more coverage that way. I feel like if I don't powder my under eyes and I'm wearing mascara, today I'm wearing the Jones Road Beauty mascara. If I'm wearing mascara, I can get some running, but not more than I would normally. Especially if I'm wearing bottom lash mascara, which I'm not wearing today. If I'm not wearing bottom lash mascara, I don't really have any running. It's not like overly oil-based where I have to worry about that, but that is something that like can happen depending on the mascara. Now, I don't find that it makes my mascara run more than average. I would say it's like average for, if it, like I'm wearing a concealer that makes my mascara run, then it would be like just average for that. But it doesn't really have a lot of creasing because it sets up. Now, if you have really creasy under eyes like I do at times, because I don't drink water, so if you're a dehydrated person that is SpongeBob, then let me tell you something. You just have to be careful because if you do have dehydrated under eyes or you just have creasier under eyes, there can be slight creasing, but it is not a lot and it's not very noticeable, but it depends on how you blend it out. So if you blend it out with your fingers, there's a lot more creasing. If you blend it out with a brush, there's very much less creasing. If you blend it out with a beauty sponge, there's a lot less creasing. There's something about this product and using it with your fingers that I have found for my personal under eyes that there's more creasing, which is surprising to me if I use my finger. I find letting it sit again really helps also with creasing. Now let's kind of go into how I like to wear it. I do like to wear this with like I'm wearing like a skin tint today. I do really like to wear this with a skin tint. I like it for no makeup days. I feel like although I always hydrate my under eyes. I wear eye cream day and night. I feel like very stressed when my under eyes get feel drier, even though I'm always so hydrated under my eyes. Not hydrated in life because like your girl never drinks water, but like hydrated in my under eyes. I don't feel like this gives me what some concealers do, which is like a tightness under my eyes, even when I set it with like a more matte powder, which is really nice, and I really do enjoy that. Now let's go into how it kind of compares to other concealers. All right, other concealers. I want to talk about this comparably to the Kosas one because I feel like most people are going to want to know how it compares to this one. So I have two shades in the Kosas, the shade 7 and the shade 6. My preference in the Kosas one is the shade 6. I feel like the shade 7 doesn't suit me that well all the time. I would say consistency-wise, the Kosas one is a little bit thicker, isn't the right word? No, thicker is the right word. It's a little bit on the thicker side. It's thicker than the SAIE Beauty one and definitely has more coverage. So if you're kind of trying to figure out if there's like a huge difference in terms of coverage, it's not huge, but there is a difference. Because again, the SAIE Beauty one is light, and I would say you can get the Kosas one to be definitely more on the medium side. I would say in terms of where, if you have an issue with running, I find that the SAIE Beauty one, I have less issues with running. And I feel like in terms of hydration wise, they are both really similar with how they feel under my eyes. The Kosas concealer can have more running, but that's just because this is has a little bit more oils in it and stuff. So it kind of depends because again, everyone's under eyes are different. So that is kind of that there. It depends on which ingredients vibe best with your skin type. I feel like in terms of how my under eyes feel, they both make my under eyes feel really, really nice. So now let's move on to I'm going to talk about ones that I find to be really hydrating because I feel like that's the same energy. So let's talk about the Ilia Concealer versus the SAIE Beauty Concealer. Again, the Ilia Concealer is medium coverage for sure. You definitely get a lot more coverage here, but I feel like the SAIE Beauty one is a little bit more hydrating. And you can get more creasing with the SAIE Beauty one than you can the Ilia one. But again, it really depends on how you blend it out and apply it. And I feel like with the Ilia one, it's a little bit more forgiving. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like the Ilia concealer is a little bit more forgiving. They both play really well with other products, other powders, and I really do enjoy wearing them without powder, with powder. These are really nice concealers. Again, the finish here, not finish, the coverage here is very different though. Okay, next I'm going to talk about, the Ami Collet concealers. Again, these are medium coverage. The SAIE Beauty one is not medium coverage. It is definitely more light sheer coverage. Not sheer. Sheer is not the right word. Light coverage. I feel like the consistencies are definitely different here. The Ami Collet is similar to the Ilia concealer in consistency, where it's more of a traditional style, and this is a little bit more on the sheer side. And when you apply it, even you notice that it is a little bit more on the sheer side, but also on the thin side. So that's why letting the SAIE Beauty concealer sit is good practice, because it kind of thickens up a little bit as it kind of settles down. But I would say that these, again, aren't all interchangeable, because the SAIE Beauty one, I would say in my collection, is the most sheer concealer that I have. So that is kind of there. Now let's talk about the SAIE Beauty Concealer versus the ones that I grabbed the most right now, the Rose Ink Concealer and the LYS Beauty Concealer. These are more on the medium plus to full coverage range. The way I apply them, they're a little bit more medium plus, because I don't like to over apply these concealers. But definitely a difference here. I would say consistency wise, the LYS Beauty Concealer is the most similar in consistency to the SAIE Beauty Concealer, because they are a little bit more on the thin side and that lightweight side. But the LYS Beauty Concealer has more coverage for sure. I feel like the consistency of the SAIE Beauty Concealer is really, really nice, because I think this would be like really good, like run and grab out the door concealer, just slap it out, blend it out, and then you're good to go. And it's it's not very noticeable under the eyes, as long as you blend out like where it can kind of collect, because then I do find like it like can bunch a little bit. But this is a really nice like summer concealer, because it's so like not noticeable, but it's still super hydrating. But it doesn't look like weirdly shiny under the eyes once it kind of sets up. So I do really, really enjoy this concealer, but I do feel like you kind of have to figure out the best way that you like to apply it, just like with most products. But I definitely found with this, I had to work with it a little bit more to figure out how I like to apply it, and a little bit at a time is definitely the way to go. But I feel like my under eyes look really, really nice. They look hydrated. They're not like creasy right now. And my mascara and everything that I applied underneath are playing really well with it, and it's nice. So this is actually a really nice concealer, and although it's really lightweight, this is definitely going to be like a go-to for summer. But I do think what I'm going to be grabbing the most is going to be the shade 3, just because I feel like I need the additional brightening. So when you're picking your shade, just know that maybe go on the lighter side. So if you're picking between two and one is lighter, I would go with the lighter one, honestly. I do really enjoy this product, and I will be using this especially like in summer, or like this is like going to be my beach concealer, or like my, you know what I mean? Like that, ooh, I'm just running out the door and I look so cute concealer, where it's like so minimal. And yeah, that is it for my SAIE Beauty Concealer review. I would love to know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.